Donald Trump has arrived in Miami ahead of his historic arraignment in court tomorrow related to his handling of classified documents. Let's bring in the foreign editor at The Australian, Greg Sheridan. Greg, Bill Barr, Donald Trump's former Attorney General, says he believes he's toast legally, politically. It continues to be a boost for the contender for 2024.
Yeah, Kieran, this is almost an impossibly complicated matter. I think it boosts him within the Republican primary, makes it more likely that he'll get the nomination, but it damages him within the general election. And this, of course, is exactly what the Democrats want. They want him to be the centre of attention. They want the election to be a referendum on Trump, not on Biden. I have argued, and I believe very strongly, that these prosecutions are a shocking abuse of process. You know, if you read the books of Bob Woodward, they are filled with presidents releasing confidential national security information to favoured journalists, you know, and they do that by their access to the documents. I mean, presidents do occupy a different status within American law in relation to national security documents. And I think for the Biden Justice Department to be prosecuting his main rival in an election season is a terrible development for America, and it is the politicisation of the legal process. That's not to say Trump has behaved properly. Trump is a despicable person and a gargoyle and a blot on Western politics, but nonetheless, he ought to be defeated at the ballot box. You shouldn't try to stitch him up with what I think are very tendentious legal prosecutions.
The Republican supporters of Trump very much trying to serve on the Bidens and saying that the FBI and the Justice Department are turning a blind eye to similar sorts of claims against Hunter Biden particularly.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. I think that's 100% right. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Hillary Clinton was investigated by the FBI because she had 60,000 emails on an insecure and unknown email server when she was Secretary of State. And James Comey, the head of the FBI, said at the time, there have been breaches of the statutes here, but no reasonable prosecutor would take the case to court. But of course, if you wanted to take Hillary Clinton to court, you could have done so at the time. Now, there are accusations from a credible FBI informant that Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden both took $5 million bribes from the company which was giving Hunter Biden $1 million a year in Ukraine at a time when Joe Biden was vice president and Hunter Biden didn't know a damn thing about the business that he was getting $1 million a year for. I mean, the whole thing stinks to high heaven. Now, you know, if you were inclined to just take a prosecution and see where it goes, that's not to prove the Bidens are guilty. They might be completely innocent despite all those facts. But nonetheless, if you were wanting to make tendentious prosecutions, you would prosecute the Bidens, son and father, and uncle, and all the rest of them. And so, although I think Trump is grotesque, nothing that I'm saying is a defence of Trump, but I think the Democrats are becoming just as bad, because even more outrageous is this Stormy Daniels prosecution, the idea that you could prosecute Trump for a financial irregularity over a hush payment to a porn star from many, many, many years ago, is again grotesque in the context of American presidential politics. And I think this is extraordinarily dangerous for America, because Republicans now won't trust Democrat legal processes and Democrats won't trust Republican legal processes. It shows the superiority of the Australian system, where the judiciary is not elected, and you don't have Liberal or Labor judges, at least not formally.